It began like any normal morning on the Today Show, bright lights, friendly faces, and the usual calm energy. But when Prince Harry sat across from Hoda Kotb, that warmth didn't last long. What started as a simple conversation soon turned tense, and before anyone realized, polite questions had become sharp exchanges. By the end, everyone was talking about how a royal walked out of live television and why. The studio glowed with soft morning light. Panels of sunlight, a city skyline behind glass, touches of green. Hoda sat ready in her chair, notes neatly arranged, calm and steady from years of live TV. She smiled toward the camera, then at her guest. "Good morning," she said warmly. "Prince Harry is with us live." "Harry, welcome." He liked that sound. Prince Harry still carried a ring to it, even after rejecting titles and duties. He leaned back, composed and casual in his slate jacket and open collar. "Thanks for having me, Hoda. I appreciate civil spaces." Hoda laughed lightly. "We try to make them." "How are you really doing?" "Thriving," he said. "California suits me. Less schedule, more freedom." "Freedom," she echoed. "That sounds nice. What's an average day like for you now?" "Mine," he said with a small grin. "I decide when to speak, where to be, and what causes deserve breath. It's freeing not to be a calendar entry others clap for." Hoda nodded kindly. "You've been open about mental health and veterans issues. Still important?" "Always," he said, glancing at the camera. "They're not hashtags for me. They're real work. Some march for show. I prefer results." A few people off camera nodded. Hoda bridged the moment gently. "Let's talk family. How's life at home?" "Great," Harry replied. "The kids are amazing. We make pancakes on Sundays." "You don't need a crown when you can make a perfect stack." "Pancakes over crowns," Hoda smiled. "That's a headline." She flipped a card. "Megan, how is she? The two of you are often in the conversation." The air shifted slightly. "She's fine," he said, clipped and cool. "We're happy. People love to project unhappiness onto us. That's their hobby, not ours." Hoda stayed calm. "Fair. But you live publicly, documentaries, interviews, because I choose how," he interrupted, smiling without warmth. "There's a difference between sharing and being sold. We shape our story, others sell their fantasy." Hoda adjusted smoothly. "You've spoken often about your mother, Princess Diana," she said gently. "Does the distance from the UK change how you hold that grief?" His jaw tightened slightly. "Grief doesn't have a postal code, Hoda, and I don't carry it like a briefcase for people to peek inside." "I understand," she said softly. "People loved her and feel tied to your journey. They can feel connected without interrogating it," he said, calm but edged. "Affection doesn't grant access." Hoda nodded once, keeping her grace. "You've said America feels like home." "What makes it so?" "Competence," he answered. "People here judge less by bloodline, more by what you do. It's refreshing." She smiled faintly. "There's a lot of love for you here." "Do you miss anything about the UK?" "Tradition," he said. Marble echoes nicely. "That I miss. Not the curators who decide which footsteps count." "Do you see a path to reconciliation?" "That's private," he said flatly. "I'm not a reunion special." "Understood," she said with a small smile. "Let's talk purpose. You've written, produced, built charities. What's next?" "When things are real, I'll announce them," he said. The air in the studio thickened. Hoda chuckled gently. "We do love a tease." She glanced at her cards again. "One personal one. How do you and Megan talk to your kids about attention?" "We remind them the world isn't invited to dinner," he said. "And we keep the world's appetite small." "That's wise," she said. "Some parents watching will quote that." "They can borrow the mindset," he replied. "The line's mine," the studio murmured quietly. Hoda felt the tension, softened her tone. "Harry, when we talk about Diana, people feel tenderness." "Do you?" "Let's stop there," he said, voice firm. "My mother's death isn't a talking point, even if wrapped in kindness." "I mean that with respect," Hoda said gently. "Intent is lovely," he replied. "Impact is what lands." The quiet was thick. Hoda stayed calm, switching lanes. "You often mention control. It can help, but also tire. Do you ever wish you didn't have to manage the story?" "I don't manage it," he said. "I own it." "Owners decide." And when people disagree, they'll live, he said. So will I. Behind the glass, the crew exchanged glances. Hoda set her cards down. You draw clear lines. What's one question you wish people would stop asking? Anything that assumes I owe them access. And one you wish they'd ask? What I'm building, not what I burned. Then what are you building? A life where my family isn't a buffet, he said. Where service isn't costume. Where manhood doesn't need a balcony. That's powerful, Hoda said. Thank you, he nodded. The floor manager signaled a break. Hoda reached for a final question. When the cameras go off, what grounds you? Knowing I don't have to justify peace to morning TV, he said coolly. We'll take a short break, Hoda said, still smiling. When the light went off, she looked at him quietly. Thanks for being here, she said. Thanks for the context, he replied. She looked out the window, counting her breaths. She'd stayed calm. He'd stayed high. And between calm and altitude, a storm had begun. The light blinked on again. Welcome back, she said smoothly. We're here with Prince Harry talking about purpose, life, and balance. What does a good day look like for you now? One I don't have to explain, he said. Coffee on my time. Work that matters. Do you ever miss anonymity? Never had it, he said. People who ask that usually did. The audience chuckled lightly. You and Meghan are often called a brand. Do you feel like one? I'm a person who learned the cost of being a product, he said. We invoice differently now. Invoice? It's honest, he said. People who never paid my bill judge the price. She smiled faintly. You mentioned pancakes earlier. How do you raise kids who will grow up visible? By making sure they're seen by us first, he said. The world can wait outside. Beautiful, she said. Functional, he corrected. Beauty gets framed. You've spoken about pressure and fear around the press. Does it feel different here? Different stage, same hunger, he said. In the UK, it's heritage theater. Here, it's subscription drama. Either way, we keep doors locked. Do you ever wish for a truce? I declared one. It refused. You have a way with words, she said. Years of being turned into one, he replied. Marriage takes work, she continued. How do you and Meghan stay centered? We keep our center where no one can find it, he said. Love gets quieter when you stop selling it. That sounds protective, she said. It's sane, he replied. Protection implies threat. I don't hand threats compliments. There are rumors of strain. Strangers aren't stakeholders, he interrupted. Caring at a distance isn't ownership. Hoda kept her tone even. People grew up watching you. What would you want them to know about who you are now? That I'm not public property, he said. My growth needs no permission slips. Some might call that arrogance, she said softly. They mistake altitude for attitude, he said. Breathing new air changes perspective. Does it cost connection? I connect with people in the room. The internet isn't one, the cue flashed. Hoda asked, what's next for your service work? Doing, not previewing, he said. Building spaces that don't make trauma audition. And the monarchy, do you miss it? It's gravity, yes, but weight isn't wisdom. And your family within it? Not a format, he said. Not content, a pause. You've said your mother's voice still guides you, she asked softly. Does sharing that feel healing? You're asking me to perform grief on command, he said. I'm not against healing. I'm against harvest. I wasn't harvesting, she said quietly. I was hoping for connection. From people who bought the magazine? He asked sharply. I know that game. The air went thin. Hoda breathed steady. Let's move to your craft, she said. Would you ever act or direct? Only where the work deserves it, he said. How do you handle disagreement? With competence, he said. I don't outshout. I outperform. Does that seem dismissive? Only to the unprepared. The air grew heavy. Harry, she said kindly, you're passionate, but sometimes very high. Altitude keeps you from drowning, he said. It also limits hearing, she replied. I hear plenty, he said. I just don't take dictation, the cue flashed again. One last, she said. If you could tell your younger self one thing on that balcony? That the balcony isn't a horizon, he said. It's a ledge. Thank you, she said. We'll be right back. The light faded. Silence filled the room. Hoda turned, no longer the host, just human. I know you don't owe anyone, she said softly. But people tuned in hoping to meet the man they admired. If you want that to be seen, I can help you show it. He smiled faintly. I prefer accuracy. The final segment began. The air was tense, the light harsh. Hoda smiled to the audience, steady as ever. Welcome back, she said. We're here with Prince Harry. Mostly the in-between, he said with a smirk. Before the break, we talked about Invictus. What drives you? Freedom, he said simply. It's the only fuel that lasts. But can it be lonely? I prefer solitude to surveillance. Harry, she said softly, people admire your openness. My openness was weaponized, he said. The room froze. Let's talk about family, she said. How are Archie and Lilibet? Healthy, happy, that's all that matters. You've said you want them to live normal lives. What does normal mean? Not waking up to camera clicks, he said. Freedom before fame. And Megan? How is she? She's fine. Thriving. Sorry to disappoint those waiting for headlines. I wasn't chasing one, she said carefully. I gave a real answer, he said. People confuse suffering with honesty. The audience stirred. Many people still associate you with Diana, with compassion, she began. Don't, he said. Don't bring her in. I meant with respect. It's not respect, he said coldly. It's manipulation. I would never. You just did, he cut in. Hoda steadied her breath. Harry, I've interviewed survivors and leaders. I meant no harm. Intent doesn't erase impact, he said. It's invasive. Her voice softened. People find strength through you. Then they should find therapy, he said sharply. Gasps filled the room. Hoda's composure cracked for a second. That's harsh on live TV, she said quietly. It's honest, he said. Honesty's good, she replied. But kindness costs nothing. And fake kindness costs a career, he said. Her tone cooled. Harry, she said, voice low. I've spoken to thousands on this show, never with such arrogance. He smiled faintly. Maybe they asked better questions. Or had better manners, she said. The studio froze. You talk about freedom, she said. But what you show is entitlement. His eyes darkened. You don't know me. I know enough, she said firmly. You had every privilege. Now you call it pain. You turned comfort into performance. Careful, he warned. I am, she said. But respect isn't submission. And humility isn't weakness. He stood, pulling off his mic. I don't need this, he said. She stood too. And I don't need hostility disguised as honesty. You wanted drama, he said. You got it. You wanted control, she replied. And you just lost it. He walked off. The cameras kept rolling. Hoda faced the audience, steady again. To our viewers, she said softly, I want to apologize. This isn't what we planned. But respect still matters. The audience clapped gently. We'll be right back. The red light went dark. The studio was silent except for the hum of lights. That's how it ended. A royal storm on live TV. Prince Harry walked out. Hoda stood her ground. And the world saw what happens when charm gives way to ego.